Welcome back in today's class. In previous class, we have discussed about the nucleation reaction. Now we'll talk about the naming of salt. See how salts are named. Uh, to name salt, uh, I will see the name of acid first, uh, because the name of salt is basically dependent on the name of acid. Okay. See, for example, the salt of sulfuric acid uh, are named as sulfate. See this chemical formula H2SO4. Uh, the SO4 is about the sulfate, and so its name is based on sulfate. Means the name of salt is dependent on mainly the acids. The salt of sulfuric acid is named as sulfate. Salt of hydrochloric acid is named as chloride. Salt of nitric acid is named as nitrate. Salts of sulfurous acid is named as sulfite. Salt of carbonic acid is named as carbonate. And salts of acetic acid are named as acetate. See, we use the uh, acidic part, okay, for naming an salt. Okay, we are knowing that acid and base combine to form salt and water. So uh, the naming, or in case of the surname of acid is based on the acid. Surname of salt is based on the acid. For example, if sulfuric acid reacts with calcium hydroxide, it will form salt and it will be named as calcium sulfate. Sulfate is at the end, so we put it this salt in the category of sulfate salt, calcium sulfate. Okay, calcium name is also there, that is taken from the basic radical, from the basic part, but the surname is uh, sulfate. Okay, but at last sulfate is there, so it is categorized as sulfate salt. Okay, similarly, suppose we will take sodium hydroxide as a base, HNO3 as a nitric acid, as acid. When these two react, they will form sodium nitrate. So sodium is taken from the basic part. Nitrate, NO3 is taken from the acidic part, and the name is sodium nitrate. So nitrate is here the category of salt, and it is based on the acid's name. So the naming is salt of salt is done by the both acidic and basic substances, but at the last the name of acid component will be there, and that's why it is categorized as the type of salt, that is sulfate salt, chloride salt, nitrate salt, and it is based on the acidic part of the chemical reaction. Okay, sulfate salt from sulfuric acid, chloride salt from hydrochloric acid, sulfite salt from sulfurous acid, carbonate salt from carbonic acid, acetate salt from acetic acid. Okay, in this way we will name the salts. Now, properties of salt. Salts are formed through a reaction between acid and bases. Salts are formed through the reaction between acid and bases that we have already discussed. We are talking about the properties. Second one is the most of salts are readily soluble in water. Most salt, okay, are readily soluble in water. Salts do not conduct electricity in their solid state. However, molten salt and solution of salt in water conduct electricity. Any salt. whatever, they will not conduct electricity in their solid form. Conduct electricity, the salt should be in liquid or in molten state too. सॉल्ट को लिक्विड स्टेट या मॉलिक्यूल फॉर्म में होना चाहिए, then only it will conduct the electricity. See, one activity is given here. Take a beaker and fill it half with water. Dissolve some common salt like sodium chloride in this water. Connect two graphite rod with the two terminals. See, it is a beaker contain half water. The two electrodes, that is graphite rod, and this water also contains sodium chloride. Connect two graphite rod with the two terminal of a battery with a 0 watt LED bulb in between. This connection will have a 0 watt LED bulb. Now dip this graphite rod in solution of sodium chloride. The bulb start glowing, indicating the flow of electric current. So as you connect uh, the bulb with the help of this electrodes, okay, what we'll find? We'll find that the bulb will glow. See here, battery also cell is there, and through this uh, connectivity is there. So what I want to say that these rods are in this solution. Okay, means these rods are not connected with wire. There is no connection with wire. It is connected through the liquid only. But still the bulb is glowing. It means what? It means that current is flowing through this water, and that's why bulb is glowing. This shows what? When salt is in liquid form, it conducts electricity. It is a very important property of salt. Okay. So there are three properties we have discussed. Salts are formed through reaction between acid and bases. Most of salt are readily soluble in water. Salts do not conduct electricity in their solid state. However, in molten state and in solution form, they conduct electricity. So that is all about the properties of salt. Now, classification. Classification of salt means we classify salts into different categories based on their properties, their behavior. Okay. Uh, Basically, we can classify salt in three categories. That is acidic salt, basic salt, and neutral salt. Now, see how it is classified. How we classify them as in three categories. So, for this, the main thing is that which type of uh, acid and bases react with each other. Only on that basis we can classify them into different type of salt, that is in acidic, basic, or neutral salt. Okay, so let us see. First of all, we'll talk about the neutral salt. See, salt uh, formed by the reaction of strong acid and strong base. When a salt formed by the reaction of a strong acid and a strong base, that salt is called uh, neutral salt. Okay. Now we have already discussed in the previous classes that some acids like sulfuric acid, like hydrochloric acid, like nitric acid, these are the strong acids. Okay, and bases like sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide are the strong bases. When these two react, they form when these Strong acid react with strong bases, they form salt and water. So the salts like sodium chloride, salts like potassium chloride, salts like potassium nitrate or sodium nitrate, these are the neutral salts. Okay. How can you say it is neutral? That we have discussed that it is neutral salt by because they are formed by this reaction. But is there any test for that? Yes, test is there. When you make the solution of these salts like sodium chloride or potassium chloride or potassium nitrate, you see there will be no change of litmus paper color in this solution. If we put either red or blue colored litmus paper in the solution, there will be no change. Okay, means the salts will remain of same solution and the paper will remain of same color. There will be no change in their color. Okay, so it will be a neutral salt. Okay, next one is acidic salt. Acidic salt, it is quite clear by the name that acidic. It means this salt contains more amount of acid and less amount of base. Means here the acidic component is dominant on basic component. That's why its name is acidic. Okay, it is very common thing. So, in this type of salt, uh, the strong acid react with weak base. Okay. See, a strong acid means what? Like uh, acid, like sulfuric acid, like hydrochloric acid, like nitric acid. These will be there from acidic part and uh, from basic part, aluminum hydroxide, ammonium nitrate, sorry, aluminum hydroxide, yes, ammonium hydroxide, they are the weak bases. So if these bases are taken and acids are strong, that is sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, then only the salt formed will be acidic in nature. For example, aluminum chloride. In salt, aluminum chloride, aluminum is taken from aluminum hydroxide, that is a weak base, and chloride is taken from the hydrochloric acid, that is strong acid. So the salt formed will be acidic in nature and hence it is called acidic salt. This salt is acidic in nature and it is called acidic salt. Similarly, ammonium nitrate, zinc sulfate, copper chloride. See in ammonium nitrate, the basic part is ammonium hydroxide, acidic part is uh, nitric acid, that is HNO3. Similarly, zinc sulfate, zinc hydroxide is the base and sulfuric acid is the acid. So, in these all examples, we have seen strong acid is there, but weak base is there. Now, again, one activity, how can we say that the given salt is basic acidic in nature? For this also, I will take a solution of given salt like aluminum chloride in water. Okay, if you make a solution, aluminum chloride is available in solid form in school laboratory. We'll take some sample and dissolve in water. What we'll find? We'll find that uh, the, the color of uh, this litmus blue change into red. Litmus blue color change into red color. Okay, and this is what? This is the mm, uh, so this shows that the given sample of salt is acidic in nature. Okay. Now one more, that is basic salt. Basic salt, as it is clear by its name that here strong base and weak base acid react to form basic salt. A strong base and weak acid. Okay, the strong base and weak acid react to form basic salt. See, in example of salt like sodium acetate. Sodium acetate has the acidic component is acetic acid and basic component is sodium hydroxide. Here, the base is sodium hydroxide and acid is acetic acid. So the salt form is basic in nature and it is called basic salt. Other example is sodium potassium acetate. Again, the acidic part is acetic acid and basic part is potassium hydroxide. Or other example is sodium formate. It is sodium formate. So sodium formate means what? Here the uh, acetic acid have this sorry formic acid has the this part that is SCOO and Na is from sodium hydroxide. Okay. Similarly, uh, this also that is potassium acetate is called. Here this CS3COO is a part of acetic acid and K that is part of potassium hydroxide. So these are the example of basic salts. Again, for them one activity is given here. We'll take the sample of these salts and make it solution in water and take in a petri dish. Now I'll put the litmus paper of red color in this solution and you'll find that litmus paper change its color from red to blue. This is what? This is the indication of the salt is basic in nature. Okay. In this way, we can identify the given salt is acidic or basic or neutral in nature. So we classify the salts in three categories, that is acidic salt, basic salt, and neutral salt. Okay. So that is all about this class. Here we have discussed about the different types of salt. Okay. And we have also talked about the naming of salt. The next class will discuss about the exercise of this chapter. Okay. Thank you for watching this video.